Have you spent years gathering information, but don't have tangible results to prove that you've actually gotten anywhere further? This is what I hear on a regular basis. So much information out there that we are constantly consuming. But consuming information or gathering information versus integrating and utilizing information is completely different. You can hear things, you can receive things, but the integration and putting it into action is where you actually get the tangible results. So let me ask you something. As a coach, do you feel confident and competent in your process to the degree that no matter who you got on a call with or any type or nature of the session, that you feel you could give them results no matter what, because you're so certain about your process and about the information that has been integrated in your own life? And so you feel super solid because you know that it has worked for you? Because that's what I would like to help you do. Information does not guarantee results. Implementation of that information does. Listen, there's only so many laws and principles of success, of healing, of prosperity, of great relationship building. There's only a few, but there's a lot of information saying those few things in a lot of different ways, using a lot of different voices, and coming from a lot of different people, which is a beautiful thing. So let's just say there's 12 laws or principles of prosperity, a flourishing and prosperous life. But there are thousands of coaches, teachers, leaders, and guides saying the same 12 things in their unique way. Now you can see where so much of that information is coming from. And we've pretty much been taught or lured into listening to all of it. And the way that your brain works is it's like a magnet, right? It's always looking for evidence of what it knows. The mind loves to be right. It loves to know, and it loves to be certain. And so we have this addictive habit or pattern of consuming, just constantly consuming more and more and more. We do the same thing with food, right? When something tastes really delicious, we want more and more and more. But then what happens to the leftovers? What happens to the overconsumption? It sits on our body and it impacts us negatively. It does not improve our health, just like overconsumption does not improve the results. What improves the results is for the coach, the teacher, the leader, the practitioner to understand these principles so clearly, so certainly, that they actually begin to change you on a cellular level. And that is what I'm calling integration, implementation, and embodiment. So you gather the information, and then you understand it, you conceptualize it, you make it unique to you. You integrate it on all levels, mental, emotional, physical, occupational, like all levels. You take that one principle and it makes sense. How we do anything is how we do everything in every area of our life. Now you have integrated it into your being and it becomes wisdom. Instead of information and knowledge, it is now wisdom. It is something in your cells, in your system, in your being. You are the results of the information because the information has now been implemented and it has now been integrated. So when you talk about it, it's congruent to the way that you live and it makes sense and people can feel that. So if you're a newer coach and you're going on about all of these concepts, but you haven't actually integrated them because you haven't fully understood them and you don't have like a way to make them make sense to you and personalize them to you, so you haven't integrated and then you're talking about it, you're going to sound like a hypocrite. You are going to have imposter syndrome. And that is because you are trying to teach something that you're actually not living by. It's so common. People can smell it, they can feel it. So the work for you is to take the concepts, take the information, make it true to yourself, and you become the client. You get the results in your own life. And then you're not having to like look in the notebook and look in the workbook because it's in the cells of your being. It's inside of you. You're living it. You could be off the cuff. You don't need a script anymore. You are the work. You become the work. You're an integrated being. You've integrated the body of knowledge into wisdom, and you've actually become the results of it. So, I often say, in order to grow the business, you have to grow the owner. And it's kind of like that. So in order to help someone else, you actually have to understand how it helps you. Like you have to become the client. So in like information, utilize, integrated into your personal life. And then you have the tangible results, and you can speak from experience. You can speak from wisdom. You can give examples, tangible results. It's going to be way easier for you to market something that is true to you, for you to promote something that you fully believe in. One of the biggest hangups for newer coaches is that they actually haven't received the transformation yet. Guys, let's do the work. Send me an email. Ask me how you can work with me. Ask me how I can help you integrate and embody this so that you actually become the body of work. So no matter where you're at, how you're moving, what's going on in your life, you have these resources, you have these tools, and you have these skills. It's like having this toolbox, like your back pockets are just carrying the tools with you no matter where you go. And you don't have to depend on memorizing or using other people's work or intellectual property. You actually create your own. You become a unique, individualized brand that has integrated this in your personal life. And you now have your own success and your own stories and your own certainty. And then people trust you because they can feel that it's congruent. It's authentic. It's authentic to you. You're like, here's the principle or the law or the tool that I use, and here is how it helped me. Here is an example of how it could help you. And I, the person who has received it, am a walking example of the results. You're your own testimonial first. Isn't that cool? It's I used to talk about PI. If you go back to the earlier episodes, PI, which is like getting present and integrating and then embodying. It's a 3-step process. I'm going to be teaching about this. If you guys don't know, haven't signed up already, look out for, I don't want this to date. So just look on my social media. There's always going to be an active link because we're always doing trainings and helping you actually come in and do the work. So these trainings are not webinars to sell you something. They're actual workshops. And if you happen to miss them, you can get the replay and you can still do the work yourself. But just not to date this in case you're listening to it a year from now. I prefer not to say the details. Just go to my social media, any of the social media channels, click on the link and come to whatever training we have coming up next. There's at least one a month. You can also go back on some previous episodes of the show and you'll get a lot of this from 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years ago. Because as I said when I came on, it's the same information, but we're giving newer and different examples according to who I am now. So that's kind of what we do. We move through life, we learn something, we utilize it, and then life changes, circumstances changes, situations change, and then we use it in a different way, and we integrate and embody the new version of that work. But it's the same principles, same principles. The message for you today is information does not mean the same thing as integration and implementation. Information is something that you take in and then you make it your own, you conceptualize it, you apply it to your own life, and then you get the results, and then you use these concepts, these principles in order to help your clients, but you are the testimonial first, so you're not making it up. so it feels real, so they trust you, so that you're confident and competent and in demand, because people are still looking for coaches. They're looking for helpers and healers and guides. They are looking, believe it or not. The industry is not dead, but you have to be the example of the work, because there is a lot of fakeness out there. There's a lot of memorized concepts and principles that's not integrated, and that is what people feel. So if you feel like an imposter syndrome, you guys need to do the work. If you feel like, I'm sorry, if you feel like an imposter, if you have imposter syndrome, that's a telltale sign for you to do the work. Come to one of our trainings, contact me about coach training, or maybe the 10-week intensive where you do the personal work yourself. I guarantee it will be worth the investment for you to become the product of your work. It makes your marketing so much better, so much stronger and purer, and it actually works. It actually works, because using ChatGPT to say something that someone else said and putting it out there, and then they meet you or listen to you or whatever form of communication you have going, they'll know if it feels like you. People are not dumb. Do your work. That is what I want this show, today's show, to be about. Do your work. Personalize it. Integrate it. Embody it. Allow it to penetrate the cells of your being and become it. Got it? Have an amazing week. Hope to see you at one of the trainings.